across the fence, we'll see and learn about the lights of Christmas at the Joseph Smith Birthplace Memorial. It is a spectacular annual display that draws thousands of people to the site. Good afternoon, and thanks for joining us. I'm Judy Simpson. Tens of thousands of Christmas lights are drawing tens of thousands of visitors to the Joseph Smith Birthplace Memorial in the White River Valley, in between Sharon and South Royalton. The lights were turned on the day after Thanksgiving, and they are now lit every night until January 1st. To learn more, I'm joined by two guests. Elder David Furman is the director of the Joseph Smith Birthplace Memorial, and Brother Rick Cochran is the director of public affairs for the LDS Church in northern New England. Welcome to both of you. Thanks so much for coming in.
Thank you.
Tell us a little bit about the lights, David, and how long you've been doing this.
Well, we've been doing this for over 30 years. It really is an amazing experience. And again, Judy, we just appreciate the opportunity to come on again. Last year, we had many people come that were not even aware of the lights or the memorial until they saw your show a year ago. So we appreciate the opportunity. We have over 180,000, close to 200,000, we're not sure, lights throughout all the grounds. People love it. The two buildings that we have on site have beautiful displays, artwork, and poinsettias. We would encourage people to go into the residence where we have a display of nativities. A Vermonter donated a beautiful, absolutely it's stunning nativity this year that is kind of the pride of our display of creches.
So tell me, who puts up all those lights, and who does all the work to get this ready every year?
We have 6 couples, senior couples, that are serving missions on the site, and for the most part, 3 or 4 of the elders and a couple of the sister missionaries put the lights up. It's a big job.
It's a big job. And so, David, what will someone see when they go to the Birthplace Memorial?
First of all, they'll see the monument that we're very proud of that recognizes the birth and life of Joseph Smith. But around that are hundreds of bushes, shrubs, trees that have gorgeous Christmas lights. It's just, you just don't see things like that everywhere.
And I know we're seeing some of the footage. It's really spectacular.
And as I say, I know when the families visit, my granddaughters just love seeing the donkey and the sheep, and actually, you know, feeling like they're part of what the Christmas season's about.
Talk a little bit about why the lights are at this location in Vermont.
We love to celebrate the birth of the Savior, Jesus Christ. And we do that by doing all we can to invite people to come on the site. The lights add to the spirit that is felt there. When the site was dedicated in 1905 by Joseph F. Smith, who was then our prophet and a nephew to Joseph Smith, he blessed the site that it would be a place that people would feel something different. And they do, and so we encourage people to come by and get in the Christmas spirit.
And so, Rick, also during the Christmas season, the church leads a Light the World campaign. Tell us about what that is.
So it's something that is relatively recent, but the idea is that Christmas time is really a time to be to provide service and do some selfless acts. And so last year they kind of piloted an initiative that went so well that this year it's the 25 Days of Christmas, starting today, or starting on the 1st of December going forward. Every day there's kind of a theme that's, you know, not necessarily recommended, but a suggestion. And you can put your own calendar together. What can you do to make a difference in somebody else's life? And I know ideally we should do that every day. But during the Christmas season, it seems like people are kind of brought together in a way that is different, and it's a wonderful time when hearts are softened and people are willing to reach out maybe to a neighbor differently than other times of the year.
And so, David, tell us a little bit more about Joseph Smith. How long did he live in Vermont, and how did he end up here, and what did he do here?
So Joseph was born here December 23rd, so we celebrate his birthday in 1805. He was just a toddler when the Smith family moved from the farm. The farm was owned by his maternal grandfather, Solomon Mack. They spent a few years in Vermont and New Hampshire before finally going to New York when he was 10 years old. Then at age 14 was when he experienced what we call the first vision, when in answer to a prayer about which church he should join, God the Father and Jesus Christ appeared to him. Told him at that time not to join any church, so they had a work for him to do, and that led to ultimately Joseph translating the golden plates into what is now the Book of Mormon, a second testament of Jesus Christ, and that is the basis for our gospel and our church.
So is this Birthplace open year-round?
Yes, absolutely. We hope everybody comes year-round because it is so beautiful. Again, some of these missionaries that are serving there, they are responsible for the grounds. They've already planted over 1,000 bulbs, so in the spring there will be beautiful tulips coming up. As those fade down, they'll plant annuals, and there are some perennials that will be up. And then in the first part of September, they change to chrysanthemums so that they tie into the fall colors. It's absolutely beautiful no matter when you come.
So when can people see the lights, and how do they get there?
So it's pretty easy to find, actually. You can take either exit 2 or 3 off of 89, go along Vermont 14 to Dairy Hill Road and straight up Dairy Hill, and I guarantee you won't miss it. There are lots of lights. When you get to the site, we would again encourage everybody to come. The lights go on at about 4 o'clock. I would wait maybe until 4:30 when it's a little darker. The site stays open until 10 o'clock. The 2 buildings, the visitor center and the residence, are open for people to come in. We serve hot apple cider and cookies. They're welcome to come and see the beautiful artwork that we have on display, and again, these beautiful nativities, particularly the new one to our collection.
And you've added something new this year. You're asking people to bring non-perishable food items.
So part of the Light the World campaign is we're thinking, this is one of the top sites for the winter and the holiday season, one of the few places in the state of Vermont where people can come and see many lights and have a wonderful experience. And so we extended that opportunity, saying, why not bring, a couple of canned goods or something non-perishable that we can then donate to local food shelves. And so we're looking forward to that. We hope this is a good year for that.
And so how can viewers get more information about the Christmas lights and the Joseph Smith Birthplace Memorial?
So we have a couple of sites. The Facebook, the Joseph Smith Birthplace Memorial is one of the sites that they can go to. And then the phone number directly to the facility is 802-763-7742. And that way they can get information, direction, ask questions.
Everybody wants to know, too, what does it cost to see the lights?
And the great thing about that is there is no cost. It's free.
That's perfect. Well, I want to thank you both for coming on and talking about this display.
Thank you for letting us
so
come,
much.
Judy.
Well, the most popular plant during the holiday season is the poinsettia. To learn more about selecting a poinsettia and how to take care of your plant, here's UVM horticulture specialist Leonard Perry.
There's nothing that really puts me in the Christmas spirit more than visiting a local greenhouse and seeing hundreds, if not thousands, of poinsettias, as we see here at Clausen's greenhouses in Colchester before the holiday season. And there's just so many different types. There's some new types in addition to the traditional red ones that you might want to consider. This is probably one of the most different. This is a rose series. It's a red and a pink rose. It actually looks kind of like a rose, very different. This is one that I've liked. It came out several years ago called Monet. A new one, a punch series. There's a sparkling and a nice punch with a little bit of white in the leaves. Traditional white. You can get just a traditional pink. One such as this, which is again a kind of different one with speckles in it. This has a lot of speckles. This is called glitter. There's an older variety called Jingle Bells. It's really nice. And then there are the types with kind of white on the edges. That's called a marble type. And there's red and white marbles. And then for one that's, if you want a really maroon color, there's this new maroon color of poinsettia. So those are just some of the range of the different types. If you can't decide, how about a tricolor mix? Several put together, or even a couple of colors, as we see in the back with the punch series, the ice punch, punch and the sparkling punch, the red and the pink with the white in it, we saw earlier in the small size. So again, if you have a small space or want to put them on small tables, the small sizes, but the big ones, even you can hang ones like this. I often get one of these. They're so full, take the hanger off and just set that on a table, and it just is beautiful there. So as far as choosing them, a couple of other things to keep in mind when you do go out and look for them. Keep in mind that these colored parts are actually modified leaves called bracts. The bits in the center, the little yellow parts, are the flowers. And that's what you want to look at, because when choosing one, you want those either not open or still very tight. If they're all the way open, that means the poinsettia is pretty old and going past, hasn't had the right care. If they're not even there, again, a good site that hasn't had the right care. So you want these little yellow buds in the center, which are the true flowers. Also, look at the foil for a couple of reasons. One is often it hides lack of leaves, or in this case, kind of one-sided. This didn't get enough light on this side. You want one that's balanced all the way around. So look for that. And also, the foil, attractive as it is, will hold water if it doesn't have a hole. Usually they don't. So when you get that home, either take the foil off, or what I do is make a small hole in the bottom, put it in a saucer to keep the water from draining onto furniture. And that way you can see how much water is there. You don't want the poinsettia sitting in water. That's one of the things it doesn't like. But first, to get it home, once you've chosen one, you want to protect it from cold. They really don't like cold that we have up here. Very sensitive. That can make the flowers turn bad. So make sure if they're small in a paper bag, or this sleeve as it's called for plants, make sure it's fastened at the top either with tape or a staple. So a good store will do that. Insist on that, or else your plant may not live when it's coming home. Make sure the car is warm. All these things, remember, it doesn't have a coat on. That's all it's got to protect it from the cold. And then once home, you want to make sure, again, that it doesn't get overwatered. If in doubt, don't water. Keep it on the dry side and make sure it drains well. And keep the poinsettias away from windows or wood stoves. They really don't like warm or cold drafts on them. Other than that, they're pretty foolproof, will last a long time. And one of the things to keep in mind, too, that I often get questions about, even from my daughter this year, is the poinsettia poisonous to people or pets? And the answer is no. That's a myth. It's not poisonous to pets or people. Pets may sample a leaf, like our cats did this year, and with the milky sap in there, they'll find quickly that that doesn't taste very good and doesn't agree with their tummies. But these are not poisonous. And there's some other holiday plants you might consider, though, if you want something different or plants to last a long time. One is the cyclamen. These come in various sizes, from real small to real big. This is actually a miniature cyclamen. There are ones with bigger flowers. It's a regular cyclamen. Again, purples, whites, bicolors, reds like this. This is a good stage to buy a cyclamen. You want a few flowers open, a few buds, and look underneath, because you want some other flowers coming along as well, some of those buds. The cyclamen likes it cool. Poinsettia likes it warm. This likes it cooler, maybe 55 to 65, and it likes even watering. This one, too wet or too dry, leaves may drop off and turn yellow. So even watering with a cyclamen, not sitting in water but not too dry either, will keep this for the longest time. Another one that you often see in stores all over is the Kalanchoe. This is actually a succulent, meaning it's very succulent leaves, very thick. It's kind of a dry, xeriscape type plant, so it really doesn't like to be overwatered. This comes in reds, oranges, yellows, purples, a lot of really bright colors. So again, a little bit on the dry side. This will last for weeks, probably, maybe 2 or 3 months even, with the flowers coming on those. So that's a great one to have, as is, if you want one, probably the longest lasting is the Christmas cactus. This is the one I've heard people say they got from their grandmother, they've had for 20 or 30 years. As it grows, gradually repotted every few years, maybe a clay pot, but this is in a hanger, but you can also put it in just a regular pot on the table, and this will bloom around Christmas. Purples, there's whites, there's reds on the Christmas cactus. Again, a cactus, so again, don't overwater this, keep it a bit on the dry side if anything, and hopefully you would get many years of bloom out of this. So, just to recap with a poinsettia, don't overwater, Keep them away from drafts, away from windows, away from wood stoves. They don't like that either. And treat as a house plant with as much light as you can give it after the holidays and fertilizer.
Well, thanks, Leonard, and thank you for joining us. I'm Judy Simpson. I'll see you again next time on Across the Fence.